in the summer. Let's have a little listen to this.
I utterly condemn the far-right thuggery we've seen this weekend. Be in no doubt, those that have participated in this violence will face the full force of the law. The police will be making arrests, individuals will be held on remand, charges will follow, and convictions will follow. I guarantee you will regret taking part in this disorder, whether directly or those whipping up this action online and then running away themselves. This is not protest. It is organised, violent thuggery, and it has no place on our streets or online. Right now, there are attacks happening on a hotel in Rotherham. Marauding gangs intent on law-breaking, or worse. Windows smashed, fire set ablaze, residents and staff in absolute fear. There is no justification, none, for taking this action, and all right-minded people should be condemning this sort of violence. People in this country have a right to be safe. And yet, we've seen Muslim communities targeted, attacks on mosques, other minority communities singled out, Nazi salutes in the street, attacks on the police, wanton violence alongside racist rhetoric. So no, I won't shy away from calling it what it is, far-right thuggery. To those who feel targeted because of the colour of your skin or your faith, I know how frightening this must be. I want you to know that this violent mob do not represent our country, and we will bring them to justice. Our police deserve our support as they tackle any and all violent disorder that flares up. Whatever the apparent cause or motivation, we make no distinction. Crime is crime, and this government will tackle it. Thank you.
I don't think there's really
speech.
I don't think. I threw in one or two little headlines there and pictures, as you can see, just to sum up. Does this man not realise what he did to us and what he said and what he accused us of? Now, I'll go back to the usual disclaimer. Nobody, but nobody, supports violent rioting, setting fire to hotels, racist attacks. All of us would condemn that, and anyone that's guilty of that stuff deserves to be in jail. But when you look at the
one-sided speech.
It's a very one-sided speech. It's a completely blind speech. And this is why I wanted to put on screen what people are thinking whilst he's talking. When he mentions about people of the UK have the right to feel safe, that's why I put the pictures up of those three little beautiful angels. That's why I put the pictures up of the victims of the Manchester Arena bombing. That's why I put the picture up of the bus that was blown up in London, because when he talks about the rights of British citizens to feel safe, those are the images that are going through our minds. This man has no contact. He has absolutely, what's the right word? What's the word I'm looking for? He has no empathy for the British people whatsoever. The man is totally out of touch and he's incapable of reading a room, let alone the nation.
Detached from reality.
Detached from reality. And that is why I put those pictures in, because I think when you look at his wording, as you go through that, every word he says, firstly, what he is saying, everyone else is thinking something completely different. And I don't even think the guy realises it.
There was a little under the counter comment, wasn't there? Whipping up a frenzy of problems and then running away. Who do you think that was targeted?
Of course.
One person.
Yeah, exactly.
And was he charged for that? No. And you know why? Because he didn't do it.
He did the opposite. He called for calm all the time. Brendan O'Neill was on the Dan Wootton show tonight, and Brendan O'Neill said since 2005, there have been 3 far-right murders. There's been just shy of 100 jihadist murders since 2005. Now let that sink in. So where's the real problem coming from? Who's actually doing the killing? It's not the so-called imaginary far right. And there is we all know there's a real nasty far right. You know, they come to our demos. We get them to sling their hook with their banners, right? They're not welcome. So we know there is a fascist far right in the UK, but there's a far bigger threat from the far left and from the jihadists.
Let's call it for what it is, Richard. There's a danger from the far left and the real far right, who have actually become friends in many respects because they're doing this together.
Yeah,
because make no mistake,
absolutely. You know, Mark Collette, you know, all the other Comanches from their little fascist groups go on Dilly Hussein and his 5 Pillars podcast. You know, they
can tell you what, 61-year-old Peter Lynch weren't far right.
No, he
and
wasn't.
Look at what he's and look what's happened to him.
Exactly, and this is the danger with this. And I don't think it's lazy branding. I think it's sinister. And here's the thing, you know, Keir Starmer knew exactly what he was doing when he made that speech because he must have known what had happened then. I don't believe that was the Sunday. That speech was made on the Sunday because that's when the hotel got attacked, right? The Rotherham Hotel got attacked. That incident happened on the Monday. By then, there is no doubt in my mind that he will have known exactly what was going on and exactly what had been found in that house, the ricin and the Al-Qaeda magazine. And we can talk about that because that's in the public domain. Other stuff would be speculation, but that's in the public domain. And I don't believe for a minute that he didn't know about that when he made that speech on Sunday.
And you know, look, mark my words on this, right? We know it's already been out on Dan Wootton's show. And I want to compliment Dan Wootton because he's really been pushing the envelope on this. So well done, Dan. There are other things that people are aware of, and they've been alluded to. If and when these things come out in the trial in January, for me, if Keir Starmer and Yvette Cooper and the head of Merseyside do not resign on the spot, it will be the biggest scandal this country has ever seen, ever, without a doubt, without question. They will be guilty of, I don't know what the right word might be, but they misled the nation. I believe they misled the nation. They have maliciously jailed people and sent innocent people to jail to cover their own arses.
Well, and they will blame the riots that were going on for the reason they didn't say nothing. That's exactly what they would do.
Surely it's perverting the course of justice. Surely it's got to be perverting the course of justice. You know, but you know that's. And
I can't wait. Look, the main thing is that the alleged attacker of the alleged murderer of those girls. The main thing that we must all worry about and be concerned about is that there's a successful conviction and that monster, if and when found guilty, goes to jail and never, ever, ever sees the light of day ever again in his life. And this must be, if he's found guilty, it should be a whole life tariff. There's no question.
How can he not be found guilty?
But here's the thing, Danny. Danny, look, that's for the law to decide, and you know that's the way the law works, right?
Well, anyway, Peter Lynch was definitely found guilty of shouting at a police officer.
Violent disorder.
That's right.
There was no violence involved.
No, but we've still got the guys in the Manchester airport walking around free that violently broken a police woman's nose. We keep mentioning it, but we've got to keep mentioning it because we can't let it drop out of everyone's mind. They cannot be allowed to get away with that, mate. They're very, very lucky. They were armed police officers. They're very, very lucky that they're going to face a trial if they do.